I spend a lot of time worrying about which blockchains and which cryptos are sustainable, which ones aren't, and I know most people don't worry about that at all. I'm worried about the business aspect of crypto. I want to buy tokens in a good protocol with a sound business model, and I don't want to have to check the price through the night 10 times and worry about my portfolio losing 70% in a half an hour. I know that's not a popular way to go about this space. Most people are trying to, 100x or bust, and that's just not me. And if you follow my work, you know that I am pretty careful and I take calculated risks, but I also worry about, is this stuff going to be around? Is this token going to be around? And maybe I'm fading certain narratives by doing this, but hey, I'm still here after 3 cycles. And most people that were getting into crypto in 2017 have been shaken out, let's say. But what's really important is that you build products on the blockchain. That's why I focus on DePIN. I think real world assets are going to make a huge impact. Maybe not right away, but soon. And of course, stablecoins are really the number one use case because they generate lots of revenue. Well, products need customers, and customers need a reason to use the product, and they have to be willing to pay for it. Otherwise, there's really no value there. The token prices are purely speculative. They're almost not even tied to the protocols or the layer ones themselves, other than they pay gas or they let you vote. Who cares about that? I want to know, does the protocol make money? And how does it make money? Is it sustainable? Is it competitive? Is it going to outlast the similar other protocols that are out there? And there are lots of redundant and similar protocols out there. We know this. But there's a reason why some do better than others. And I think it has a lot to do with the business design, the tokenomics design. Does the token actually enhance what was built? Or is the token just like a mascot and a meme? Or is it crap? This is not going to surprise most people, but the chains that have the most users and the most liquidity and the most volume happen to be the ones that made the most revenue in 2024. So you could say what you want about ETH and the gas fees. You could say what you want about Solana and the wash trading. You could say what you want about Tron and the founder. The chains made money. How this revenue is distributed or used to reward users and participants, that's going to have to be researched. But at a glance, it looks like the top chains that I would have chosen as the top chains are also the top chains by revenue. A couple of surprises in there, but the top 4, not a surprise at all. You have ETH. They've monetized their block space better than any other chain. So you could say what you want. Oh, the gas fees are unpredictable. Too bad, then don't use the chain. They have plenty of customers willing to pay those gas fees. Tron, who uses Tron? I've been talking about Tron for a year. They have tons of stablecoin liquidity and use. In 2024, the Tron network raised over $500 million in just fees, not volume, not daily active users, which is a BS metric. They're making money over there. Solana, $374 million. Even with minuscule transaction fees, this is what the chain generated in 2024. And of course, Base, I'm very high on Base. Maybe it's more centralized than most, but it also has that brand recognition of being affiliated with Coinbase. They don't have super low fees like Solana, but they got a lot of users. They got a lot of liquidity over there, and there's not even a layer 1 token to speculate on. So I think that people need to pay more attention to revenue, especially when you're picking the tokens in your portfolio. Sure, you want to buy based on narrative. I get that. You want to buy based on hype, and hopefully you can get in and get out before that hype dies. God bless you. But in the end, the business of blockchain really only has a couple of winners and a whole lot of losers as far as I can tell. And there needs to be some shakeout, some consolidation. A lot of chains just need to go away. But protocols themselves have to make money. Otherwise, how are they going to sustain? They're going to issue their own token and just rely on inflation to keep people interested. That lasts months, not even a year or two. But it's no surprise that Pump.Fun is number 1. Projects by yearly revenue, Pump.Fun slaughtered the competition, it looks like. There aren't that many protocols that make money aside from issuing their own token and tricking retail into buying it, right? So we got MakerDAO up there. Not a surprise. Stablecoins are an actual product. Really, the number 1 use case of crypto is stablecoins. And we've got PancakeSwap. That's a little bit of a surprise. That's an OG name. They murdered their own token from what I remember, but the protocol is making money somehow. Aerodrome, not a surprise. Not a surprise. Athena, not a surprise. They make money. And there are a couple that I don't recognize here, so forgive me for that. And you could criticize Pump.Fund. You could say, well, meme tokens, they're BS. They're scams. People wanted to buy them. They filled a need in the space, right? It combines gambling and this PvP kind of, when am I going to dump? Are you going to dump before me? This filled a need, especially when the bear market was so boring. People wanted to entertain themselves. It says they created over 5 million meme tokens. Some of them reached market caps over $100 million. There are L1 tokens out there that are doomed because they don't even have a tenth of the revenue that a single application on Solana had last year. And that's the sad truth. The other thing I want to touch on is these networks with these super low fees, like 0.0001 cent to do a transaction. Look, we have, 50,000, 100,000, a million daily active users. I guarantee you don't. You have a few users orchestrating transactions through hundreds or thousands of wallets. And that's probably what's happening because your network ain't generating any fees. So this is all fake activity. You're tricking people into paying attention to your chain through this bogus metric, daily active users, volume. If it costs nothing to move volume on your chain, you're going to get a lot of nonsense, wash trading, and just bot activity. And I truly believe that most chains are falsifying their user activity in order to sucker in retail and VCs to invest in their token and the projects on their chain. This might not be a problem for a lot of people right now. I guarantee you it's going to be a problem. And you could see by token performance that a lot of tokens that they just don't have the users, they lag the market. Should I start naming some? Now, Ethereum, I consider it to be a special case. It's true. They're not friendly to small transactions. You're never going to have microtransactions successful on ETH, and gaming probably not possible on ETH. This L2 explosion and this migration of apps to L2s, maybe this is going to hurt ETH in the long run, and we're going to look back and say Ethereum should have got their gas prices under control. We always knew they were doomed to fail. Maybe that's very possible. But for the last 5-6 years, Ethereum has monetized its block space. There's demand for block space on ETH. People are willing to pay money to put transactions into a block on ETH. Can the same be said for your favorite protocol? Are there L1s out there that have to pay inflation to get people to use their chain? Yeah, there's a lot of those. We saw it in Cosmos where chains were just spinning up new L1 token, new L1 token, new L1 token. Half those projects, if you go through the block explorer, they have 0 transactions per block for dozens of blocks in a row. And the transactions they do have, if the fees are 0.0001, could be somebody just taking $1 worth of rewards from their staking money. Could be a validator just moving money from wallet to wallet. Could be a founder cashing out and bridging out of there, going to ETH where they could actually find some liquidity and cash out from their doomed L1 that has no users. And even if they had users, those users are not willing to pay fees to use the network. No fees, no future is really what it comes down to. That's true for apps. That's true for L1s. Now, can you have an L1 that doesn't make money, but has apps on top of it making loads of money? Possibly, but someone's going to have to pay the bill for that L1 to stay up and running. Maybe it's the app builders. Maybe they're making so much money, they validate the chain or they fund validators. I don't know what that's going to look like. Can you convince validators to maybe run the chain for free? Maybe for a little while. Are they going to do it honestly? Probably not. Are they going to be dedicated? No, not at all. So there needs to be some revenue to keep these chains running and to keep these apps sustainable on the chains. And that means you're going to have to get out there and get customers. And I think that falls on the shoulders of the app builders. Most people launch an app, it looks like, and they're just hoping to take users from other apps in the same ecosystem. This is not sustainable. Maybe this is good for end users because then if you have 10 competing apps that serve the same purpose. They can't raise their fees. Great, it's cheap to transact, but they're not going to last that long. They need money. These developers, they got to upgrade. They got to do research. They need to revise front ends. They need to integrate other protocols. These developers are not working for $30,000 a year, people. And the money's got to come from somewhere, and that somewhere is customers. Let's look at THORchain. People in my Telegram were a little surprised I sold all my Rune tokens. I can't follow it anymore. Too much negativity on Twitter. There's too much else going on for me to worry about what's going on with THORchain, with their lending, and founders are taking a break and all that. This is a bull market. There's no room for that whatsoever. Your token needs to perform. THORchain's been just volatile, and the Rune token doesn't seem to be tied to the liquidity on chain, but as a protocol, THORchain's doing exceptionally well. THORchain's making money not only for the chain itself, but for people building on the chain. Let's look at the network stats. THORchain has done $56 billion in volume in 2024. Most chains with lower fees can't even do 100th of that. Okay. They've got 300 million in liquidity. Depends how efficiently they're using that, but you might say, oh, that's low compared to what's going on Aerodrome or Radium or Uniswap, obviously. How THORchain uses its liquidity is going to be unique from how apps use their liquidity, simply because they're their own blockchain and their blockchain does swaps. That's all they really do. That's their core business. $30.6 million in liquidity fees, $24.6 million in affiliate fees. The 30 million pays the liquidity providers. There's incentive there for people to supply liquidity to THORchain. But look at this 24 million. This is fees collected by front-end interfaces, namely wallets. And a lot of these wallets do distribute these fees to their token holders. I've even seen one that does it in a stablecoin. Imagine that. Real fees really should result in a stablecoin at the end of the day, or Bitcoin, something that could be easily swapped, not worrying about price impact and all that. But anyway, 80 million in total system rewards. These are block rewards. These are fees collected, all that. And it says here, organic swap fees account for almost 40% of the system rewards. That's crucial. That means people are using the chain and they're willing to pay to do it. You can see they've highlighted their top swap routes. Most people are going from Bitcoin to Rune or Bitcoin to ETH or ETH to Rune. Their token is almost part of the infrastructure. It looks like it's really hard to compare Rune to another token. But here you go. This is what's going on THORchain. It's swaps. It's primarily swaps. But they published a complete annual report, and blockchains and protocols that are geared towards longevity, sustainability, being an actual business, they should be pumping out these reports quarterly, at least. Monthly would be great for a small protocol to publish monthly reports. It doesn't have to be intricate. You don't need a big 5 accounting firm to put it out, but you should be transparent so people can go through the documents if they're interested and decide, do I want to invest? Do I want to hold a token in this protocol? So again, I'm interested in the business side of crypto. What's still going to be your next cycle? What could actually survive the bear market? Or is everything going to be just forever tied to Bitcoin? Projects that seem to be taking that path are not doing so well. I can name a few. Think about it. Bitcoin's at all-time highs. Altcoins, some are 70% off their highs. How is that possible? Are you going to say we didn't have an altcoin rally yet? Were you here in March of 2024? Were you alive and breathing in November 2024? Altcoins have ripped in 2024. Yours is not, because maybe it's just simply not sustainable. The tokenomics don't make sense, and there is no actual business model. The founders are just feeding you hype, hopium, and roadmap bullshit.